Greetings everyone. In this video I want to talk about the cares of this life dragging you down.
Greetings! This infinite source truth is made possible by the generous contributions and support of viewers like you. Please consider making a contribution now. Thank you.
The cares of this life can severely affect a source player in their game. When you become so preoccupied about relationships, money in the bank, money in your hands, businesses, jobs, when it consumes all of you, that consuming is exactly what it's doing. It's consuming your synergy cell. There is a balance that needs to be maintained. You can't, well, for one thing, you can't worry about relationships that you have no control over. You cannot control other people. So, if you are trying to keep a relationship together, if you are trying hard to hold certain things together, and it's not solely up to you, but there's someone else involved, then you really need to rethink that relationship. Rethink how much you are giving out of yourself to maintain something that someone else doesn't care about. Is it worth the energy lost to you? There's a whole thing there about being used and not being appreciated. Now, does it matter? No, it really doesn't, because in this game, everything's about experience. And so what you are experiencing is simply an experience, but it doesn't feel like it. It feels like an attack at your inner core and your inner being. But in reality, it's just an experience. But you are emotionally, energetically invested, and so it is very hard for you to let go. When you come to the realization that everything in this game is simply a choice and an experience. Now, choices where other people are not involved, where it's only you, which if you are married, if you are in a relationship, is very difficult to do, to truly be yourself, because you're always taking that other person or the relationship into consideration. How many things do you do throughout your day, from fixing someone else's favorite breakfast, or washing their clothes, or picking up after them, or driving them someplace, or running errands for them? How many of those things would you do if it was just you? How much energy are you expending because of a relationship? Now, it's not just that. How much energy are you saving because of that relationship? All right? Someone else is fixing your meal for you. Someone else is taking care of cleaning. Someone else is taking care of whatever. Someone else is meeting your needs for perceived you need love or you need sex. What is the trade-off? There's always a trade-off. There's always a trade-off, a perceived trade-off. Your subconscious wouldn't have you in that relationship, or you wouldn't be scripted into it if there wasn't a trade-off. And sometimes the cares of life can take you down. Take you down. It's choices. It has becoming overly emotionally, energetically attached to that relationship, that job, that business, whatever. When you can tell that you are overly attached to something is if that relationship, that business, that job, that child, if any of that were removed from you, would it harm you? Do you feel as though it would harm you? Do you feel as though you can't live without that thing? If it were removed from you, from your script, from your stage, from everything. Now, everything can be replaced, including people. Did I say that? Yes, I did. Everything can be replaced, including relationships. Now, they won't be the same, but they certainly can be replaced. And some of them can be replaced for even better ones. But anytime that you look at something that you have, whether it's a possession, be careful, because whenever you say you have a possession, then whatever you possess possesses you. Possesses you. When you start thinking of it that way. You see, holding things with an open hand. You see, you can't, if your hand is full and you're not willing to trade off anything that's currently in your hand, you can only hold so much. And at a certain frequency level, this applies more than to higher frequency levels. But you have to get through the lower rungs before you can get to the heights. You can only contain so much until you unlock your soul cage. And then things don't affect you energetically quite the same way because you have more energies available to you to manifest the experiences that you desire to experience. And you look at things differently from that height. Be aware if this is something that you're experiencing, and then examine why it is. Why do we tend to cling on to things so tightly? Even relationships. Even relationships to the point that we are smothering that other person with our clinginess and holding on so tightly. Now, it's a strange feeling initially when you realize that someone else could be in a relationship with you or not, and they're okay with it. Because there's something inside you that goes, they must not love me, or I don't understand, how could they be so, it's okay if you're in their life, and it's okay if you're not in their lives. It's a strange feeling, but it's a very freeing feeling when you realize that both of you are there because you desire to be there. But you each have your own life, and sometimes you take into consideration the other person, but you need to be aware of the choices that you're making and how that other person is affecting and influencing your choices. See, that's a choice that you have, that you are allowing to influence you. And you have to make sure that you are not changing the path of your journey because of something that someone else, or even a job or a position, is directing, but is directing your path because you want to be on the same path as that other person. You better make sure it's a good path to be on, a beneficial one. Otherwise, you can choose to be on the path until it separates. And then be okay with that. It's growth, it's changes of frequency, it's changes of paths and choices and desires of what you want to create in your life. And you see, it's an experience. Choices are experiences. It's neither good nor bad, even though you think it is. It's just an experience. Don't take everything personal. Don't take it personal. It's all you. It's all you. You're in this game playing with yourself. It's you. It's all you. Just make choices that will benefit you in what you desire to attain to, frequency-wise. It really is quite simple. And just don't let things grab a hold of you and get their claws into you and hold you down and keep you from making beneficial choices for yourself. Don't be influenced by those things that would redirect you and get you off of your intended path or journey. Don't let the cares of life pull you down. Don't be consumed by the cares of life. Now, that alone takes some introspection, some self-examination to understand why it is that you are compelled or you feel that certain things you must do, you must have. You need to know yourself in this game above all things. When you know yourself, then you can deal with your subconscious. You can deal with the choices that you make and why you make them, understanding why you're making the choices that you're making. Make them from a neutral observation of where that thing is taking you and not be led about by your emotions. Emotions. Making sound decisions for your experience. For your experience. Now, you can do this. You can experience your best life yet. It's as simple as making the most beneficial choices for yourself. If you find the information that I share beneficial to you, then it benefits you to say thank you via gift via PayPal. The link is in the description box below. Abundance, health, and prosperity to you. You can experience your best life yet.